In the glittering world of Hollywood fame, one question has haunted fans for decades. What really happened between Gene Hackman and his first wife, Faye Maltese? Their 30-year marriage ended in silence, with neither party ever speaking publicly about what went wrong. Even more shocking, after Hackman's death earlier this year, Faye maintained her decades-long silence, taking whatever secrets they shared to her grave. Was their relationship destroyed by Hollywood's temptations, or was something far more complicated at play? Tonight, we dive into the mystery that even death couldn't unveil. Gene Hackman's journey began far from the bright lights of Hollywood. Born on January 30, 1930, in San Bernardino, California, Hackman's childhood was marked by instability and heartbreak. When he was just 13, his father abandoned the family without warning, leaving only a wave goodbye. This devastating moment would shape Hackman's approach to relationships for the rest of his life. Searching for structure and purpose, the teenage Hackman lied about his age to join the Marines at just 16 years old. Military life gave him discipline, but it was during his service in China and Hawaii as a radio operator that he first discovered his gift for performance, working as a disc jockey in his spare time. After his discharge, Hackman briefly pursued journalism at the University of Illinois, before an undeniable pull toward acting led him to the Pasadena Playhouse Theater. It was here that fate dealt him both a crushing blow and the motivation that would define his career. Instructors ranked him among the least likely students to succeed. Alongside another hopeless case named Dustin Hoffman, rather than accept defeat, Hackman used the criticism as fuel, moving to New York City where he took any job he could find while pursuing his dream. He drove trucks, worked as a doorman, and even served as a secretary, all while attending auditions and building connections in the theater world. During these struggling years, Hackman met a young woman named Faye Maltese. Their connection was immediate and profound. Unlike the flashy Hollywood romances that would later surround him, their relationship was built on something more substantial: mutual struggle, shared dreams, and unwavering support. In 1956, they married in a simple ceremony, with little indication that their union would someday become one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. Faye believed in Hackman's talent when few others did, working to support them while he chased auditions across New York. This early foundation of trust and sacrifice would make their eventual separation all the more perplexing to outside observers. The couple welcomed 3 children, Christopher, Elizabeth, and Leslie, as Hackman slowly built his career through small television roles and theater performances. Every audition, every minor part was a step towards something greater, though neither Gene nor Faye could have predicted just how high his star would rise. The family lived modestly, with Hackman's sporadic acting jobs barely covering their expenses. This period of struggle, while difficult, created a strong family unit, one that would later be tested by the very success they had worked toward together. Hackman's breakthrough finally came in 1967 when he was cast as Buck Barrow in Bonnie and Clyde. At 37 years old, he was hardly the fresh-faced newcomer typical of Hollywood success stories, but his lived experience brought depth to the role that younger actors couldn't match. The film was a sensation, earning Hackman his first Academy Award nomination and opening doors that had been firmly closed just months earlier. Almost overnight, the struggling actor became a sought-after talent, with directors eager to work with the man who brought such authenticity to the screen. 4 years later, Hackman delivered the performance that would cement his legacy. As Detective Jimmy Popeye Doyle in The French Connection, he embodied a gritty intensity that captivated audiences and critics alike. The role earned him the Oscar for Best Actor and established him as one of Hollywood's most versatile performers. No longer was he struggling for roles. Now, Hackman had his pick of projects, each one more lucrative and prestigious than the last. His career trajectory continued upward, with memorable performances in The Poseidon Adventure, The Conversation, and as the iconic villain Lex Luthor in Superman. But as Hackman's professional star ascended, something troubling was happening at home. The very success that should have brought security to the family instead introduced new strains. Film schedules meant lengthy separations, with Hackman often absent for months at a time. The intimate family unit that had weathered years of financial uncertainty now faced a different challenge: emotional distance. Faye, who had supported her husband's ambitions from the beginning, found herself increasingly isolated as his fame grew. The children, too, felt the impact of their father's absences, creating a gap that widened with each passing year. Hollywood's temptations added further complications. Surrounded by beautiful co-stars and the industry's notorious party culture, rumors of Hackman's potential infidelities began to circulate. While never confirmed, these whispers contributed to the narrative of a marriage under pressure. Hackman himself later admitted in rare interviews that his work had always come first, a dedication that brought professional success but exacted a heavy personal toll. "I was probably a terrible husband," he once acknowledged, without elaborating on specifics. "I put my career above my family." The pressures mounted through as Hackman's workload intensified. He often took on multiple projects back to back, sometimes filming one movie while preparing for another. This punishing schedule left little time for family life, creating a pattern of presence and absence that strained even the strongest bonds. For Faye, who had once been Hackman's greatest supporter, watching him prioritize work over family became increasingly difficult to bear. Yet publicly, the couple maintained an image of stability, attending industry events together and presenting a united front to the outside world. Then, in 1986, after 30 years of marriage, the announcement came that shocked Hollywood. Gene Hackman and Faye Maltese were divorcing. The press immediately began speculating about the cause, but both parties refused to comment. No dramatic accusations were exchanged through tabloid headlines. No scandalous details leaked from anonymous sources. Instead, there was only silence. A quiet, dignified end to a 3-decade relationship that had witnessed both tremendous struggle and extraordinary success. This silence was perhaps the most intriguing aspect of their separation. In an industry where personal drama is routinely exploited for publicity, both Hackman and Maltese chose discretion. No tell-all interviews, no memoir chapters detailing the breakdown of their marriage, just a mutual agreement to keep their private lives private. This decision protected not only their own dignity but also shielded their children from the media circus that typically surrounds celebrity divorces. After the divorce, Hackman quickly remarried, wedding classical pianist Betsy Arakawa in 1991. This new relationship flourished, lasting until his death earlier this year. Meanwhile, Faye Maltese retreated entirely from public view. She never remarried and rarely appeared in public, choosing instead to focus on her children and grandchildren away from the spotlight. This retreat only deepened the mystery surrounding the end of her marriage to Hackman, as she took no opportunities to shape the narrative or defend her position. When news broke of Gene Hackman's death in January 2025, many expected Faye would finally break her silence. Journalists reached out for statements, offering platforms for her to share memories or reflections on their time together. Yet once again, Faye chose silence. No public statements, no interviews, no carefully crafted social media tributes, just continued privacy in the face of renewed interest. This final act of restraint completed a pattern established decades earlier, leaving the public with questions that would never be answered. So what are we to make of this enduring mystery? Perhaps the real story isn't about scandal or betrayal, but something far more human: the difficulty of maintaining intimate connections while pursuing extraordinary ambitions. Hackman himself once observed that success is more than a little bit overrated, suggesting that his professional achievements came at a personal cost he hadn't fully anticipated. The price of his Hollywood dreams may have been the loss of the woman who had believed in him from the beginning, or perhaps their silence tells a different story entirely. One of mutual respect so profound that neither would violate the other's privacy, even when doing so might have benefited them personally. In an age of oversharing and performative intimacy, the quiet dignity maintained by both Hackman and Maltese stands as a powerful counterexample. Their refusal to exploit their relationship for publicity or financial gain speaks to a character rarely seen in modern celebrity culture. What remains clear is that some mysteries are meant to stay mysteries. Not every relationship can or should be dissected for public consumption. In protecting the sanctity of their private life together, Gene Hackman and Faye Maltese remind us that true intimacy exists beyond the public gaze, that the most meaningful aspects of human connection often remain unseen and unheard by others. Their silence, maintained even beyond death, may be their most profound legacy. As we reflect on Hackman's extraordinary career and the enigma of his first marriage, perhaps we should honor their wishes by embracing the uncertainty. In a world that demands answers and explanations for everything, there is something refreshing about a mystery that remains unsolved. Some stories belong only to those who lived them, and in respecting that boundary, we acknowledge the fundamental privacy that makes our most intimate connections possible. The question isn't really what happened between Gene Hackman and Faye Maltese. It's whether we have the wisdom to accept that some questions are not ours to answer. And in that acceptance lies a profound respect for the complexity of human relationships that transcends our need for narrative closure. Perhaps that's the real lesson of their enduring silence, that sometimes the most powerful statement is no statement at all.